Wednesday, August the 5th. We're continuing with the idea of God can heal you. Matthew chapter 13, verse 23 says, and Jesus is speaking here, but what was sown on good soil is the man who hears the word and understands it. He produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. So, are we the good soil or are we the bad soil? Are we the soil that yields 100, 60, or 30? Which are we, and how can we tell? How can we tell that God's word is growing in us? God can heal you. God can take us from unproductive soil, an unproductive person, to a very productive person. So how can we tell that's happening? Well, first of all, do you have a desire to serve? Do you love to serve? You have that in you? That's one reason. That's one evidence. 1 John 3:18. 1 John chapter 3, verse 18 says, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with action and in truth." One way we know that God is working in us is if we love to serve. The second one, I'm more concerned with inward growth than outward actions. I'm more concerned about how I feel about things and my attitude than the things that I do. I don't want to be seen. Sometimes we want to be seen by others doing things, so they'll think good things of us. But ultimately, deep down, I don't have to have that happen. Whether anybody says thank you, whether anybody recognizes what I do, just simply the fact of doing it is enough. That lets you know that God is working in you. Another one, when I doubt, turn to the Lord rather than away from him. 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him. Why? Because he cares for you. Cast all your worries and your anxiety on him because he cares for you. When we doubt, we wonder about God's goodness, turn to him, not away from him. And then another one, I have a hunger to study God's word. Matthew 5, verse 6 says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." A hunger for God. Do I want to spend time with God, or do I do it out of obligation? I'm supposed to pray this amount of time, check that box off. Oh, I've read my Bible, check that box. Or do you just simply enjoy time with God at times? Next one, we can disagree with other believers and still love them. Romans chapter 14, verse 1 says, "Accept him whose faith is weak, without passing judgment on disputable matters." Sometimes we have to be right. And for us to be right, somebody else is going to be wrong. And some things just don't matter. It's okay if we disagree. Some things are not black and white. And we don't have to make a war out of those. It's okay if we disagree on some things. There's some things that are, Jesus is the Son of God. That's one that's a hill to die on. Most aren't. Verse 6, becoming more generous. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." We find ourselves being generous when we can give a quarter or $1, and we choose the dollar. When we can give $10 rather than one. When we want to walk that extra mile, we want to do that extra thing for them. That shows the generousness in us, and where does that come from? It comes from God. And then we become less defensive. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 11 said, "A man's wisdom gives him patience. It is to his glory to overlook an offense." Sometimes people say things about us, and it's easy to get offended and then strike back. Silence is a powerful weapon. The Bible tells us to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. Sometimes we need to fight back with silence, just to listen. Most people don't know what to do with silence. If they're attacking you and all they're getting is silence, they're looking for ammunition to come back to them. They can shoot at you some more. But when it's just silence, oftentimes they don't know what to do with that. You know, there are times when we just do what we can do. We don't know the best way. We just do it. We just do it. Is God growing in me? Is this word growing in me? Well, you know, we looked at some of these. Serving, being more concerned about how our attitude than maybe the things that we do. Turning to God rather than away from Him. Having a hunger for God. Disagreeing with believers and still loving them. Becoming generous. Becoming less defensive. Sometimes we're just not sure we're going the right way, and we just have to hang on and keep going and trust God. There was a man on a flight, a small plane from Portland, Maine to Boston. The pilot, Henry, heard a noise at the back of the small aircraft, so he went to investigate. As he got up and went back, the plane hit an air pocket, and he was tossed against the tail section. The rear door, back where he was not properly latched. So as it flew open, Henry was sucked from the jet out of the plane. When the co-pilot made an emergency landing, they found Dempsey holding the outer ladder of the aircraft. Somehow he caught the ladder and held on for 10 minutes as the plane flew 200 miles an hour at 4,000 feet, and he survived the landing. It took several minutes to pry his fingers from the ladder. He was hanging on for everything he had. You know, sometimes that's what we have to do. We have to hang on and just keep following God, even if we don't see any results. Sooner or later, we will. Do you believe that God can take you from where you are and bring you to a better place? Do you believe God can heal you? Do you believe that God can do in your life what you cannot possibly do? I wondered if Henry thought if he got blown out of the plane, if he would survive. He held on. Folks, sometimes that's what we need to do. Sometimes we just need to hold on. Have a good day.